There may be one skill that's holding you back from all of the strength and skill that you could gain. And we're gonna start right here in our resting squat. And as we get into this one move, we're gonna talk about a particular topic that relates to this, okay? So let's warm up. We'll go hands down. We do this in our consults as part of our assessment. This is the first part. We look at pushing strength, which is measured by handstands on demand from all angles. And I ask people, okay, with a wide grip, we're gonna go shoulder width and then use your toes to balance and toggle that balance on the ground. And then if you can, hold a 10-second hold there. And then we start to progress up from there through this little consult assessment. But there's one key element here that separates people from being able to gain higher levels of strength and skill. And that's this, it's a mentality. So let me ask you this question, okay? Let's say that a kid was trying to build a handstand, all right? And they get frustrated and they keep coming down and they fall over and they say they've had enough and they're frustrated. What would you tell them? You tell them, try again, right? And then what would you say if they started saying that they can't do it? They started using that dreaded C word, they can't do it. You'd say, don't say can't, say can, all right? I often say, if people are shaking their head side to side like this, I say, you're shaking your head the wrong way. Go like this. As I was thinking about adults training, and I was thinking about the mainstream methods that we see often. Okay, you can list them out, weightlifting, cardio, stretching, all of those mainstream kind of things versus, let's say, for example, just building a handstand, all right? There's so much inside of building that handstand, and it's not just about that skill that people got to understand. I want you to understand that it's so much more than that skill, that it's strength, mobility, flexibility, agility. Then when you start getting into movement and stuff, speed and power and coordination and all these things. So there's so much more that you're gaining. It's not just a handstand. So people, you got to understand that. And now what holds people back from building up towards getting this handstand is that exactly right there. They may not get it on their first try. Here's the thing that I thought about with adults that separates their mindset from a kid, that they may go and play and try things for hours and hours and hours, and then they get frustrated, you have to tell, try again. But with adults, it's almost like they have a fear of failure. And many adults have a career, they have a salary, and that over the years has become, their time has become tied to their money. And so whenever they look at something like a skill that could open up the portal for all kinds of strength and skill and athleticism and longevity and everything else, they start to think that, is it worth their time to do those trials and to go through that process of trying to learn it? Because they may be starting from scratch. You may be right down here. And what you have to understand is that is okay, because soon you may progress up to here, and then maybe up to here, and then maybe up to here, and then maybe up to here, and then here, and then here. But listen, inside of that series that I showed you there might be hundreds of trials. There might be hundreds of tribulations. And so there's also this component that will hold people back, especially adults, is that you have to be okay with starting at a beginner level and coming in like an empty cup, ready to be filled up and learn new things and get rid of the fear of failure and relinquish the idea that your time is connected to some sort of monetary value that you can't get back, and that you might be wasting your time to develop new things or try new things or spend that time learning something new. And becoming okay with, and here's a big one for adults, being okay with being in a position of vulnerability and potentially the risk of embarrassment, which is probably the biggest one of all. And so if we can at least acknowledge those things and come into it with, you know what, it's okay where I'm at, that single piece, that single skill will actually help you to unlock all of the physical stuff, the kind of body that you want, and total body mastery. If you want help building body mastery with moves like the handstand and muscle ups and V-stands and all kinds of other things, then use the link, apply for training. I'll see you in the next video and in training soon.